Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be having an update on our potential significant winter weather system that be affecting parts of the central and eastern US as well. It's going to bring quite a bit of snow, sleet, freezing rain, and also a decent amount of rain with this system as well. We'll be taking over what the factors are going to be and also what the models are thinking about this as well. And also made a couple maps for you guys of what type of scenarios this system could have as well. Before we get started this video, if you guys like weather related content, you can always subscribe to my channel. We do this stuff all the time on this channel. Plus, we'll be having more updates on the system here over the next couple days, so definitely stay tuned for some more updates as well. So we'll get started with the GFS model. Our nor'easter is finally out in the United States, brought in a lot of snow for areas up in the New England states, but things do stay mostly on the quiet side, except for parts of the northern plains. This is going to be your system that's going to bring in an Arctic front. And this is going to set up with that cold air that's going to set up. And it's going to be some big time cold air up there, let me tell you. It's going to bring in a decent amount of snow for some of those areas up there along the Canadian border. And then you start to notice that precipitation starts to break out really from parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, all the way up into southern Michigan as well, with that mix of some snow in there as well. And then you start to notice here, our low starts to develop somewhere in the parts of Texas, and there's a lot of snow on the backside of the system. But not only snow, you got a lot of ice going on, and that's going to be the biggest concern with the system here. This is a favorable setup for one of those significant ice storms to happen. Your precipitation shield is huge. Your precipitation shield goes from as far as southwest as the Arizona-New Mexico state line, all the way up into Maine, and that is a huge precipitation shield. Some areas is going to experience snow for a long period of time, and even for ice as well. So this is 18Z on Thursday, or 1 o'clock in Eastern Time on Thursday, and we do have a 1,008 millibar low along the Tennessee and Mississippi border. Heavy snow at times on the snowy side of the system, but you also do notice that there's a lot of ice going on here. That's where those purples and pinks show up. Pink is sleet, and red is freezing rain. And that system does continue to move off to the northeast as well, bringing in a really nice precipitation shield. Quite a bit of snow with it as well, but unfortunately it does come with a little bit of ice with the system as well. And eventually the cold air will start to win as well, as it does suppress the system here over time as well. And it brings it off to the coast as well. So that's one model, one solution. How about the Canadian model? Well, pretty much the same thing over the next couple of days. Precipitation breaks out really by Wednesday across a pretty large area. And eventually, then again, a low will start to develop somewhere in central Texas. That's going to ride up along this Arctic front as well. And you do notice that the Canadian model does take it a little bit further south. And this is where uncertainty comes into play. Is where's that low going to track? Is it going to track further to the southeast, or is it going to track a little bit further to the north? That's what we still do not know yet about the system here. We do know that it is going to be a significant system. It's going to bring a lot of snow and even quite a bit of ice. We just don't know where the track of the low is going to be, because it does matter for a lot of folks out there as well. Eventually, by Friday, early Friday morning, actually I meant afternoon, it moves up into parts of the northeast as well. So this is going to be impacting a lot of areas. The storm system will, then again, will really impact a lot of areas as well. Let's check out the European model, see what it suggests, and perhaps the same thing over the next couple of days. You do get a big mild surge of some milder air too, by the way. Temperatures for a lot of places will be in the 50s to 60s. A much needed fall for some areas as well, where we have been in that cold air for a pretty long period of time, but it's not going to last very long, because then again, your Arctic front right here, a low start to develop somewhere down here. And also to keep in mind is that the Gulf of Mexico is wide open for moisture as well. You can actually tell where some of those showers and storms are going. They're actually going a little bit more on the north side. You got rich of high pressure out in the Atlantic. You're also getting a little bit of moisture from the Eastern Pacific as well. So this is going to have a lot of moisture with it. So we're definitely not going to have any lack of moisture out there. And I'll show you guys those rainfall amounts in a moment just to kind of show you how much moisture there's going to be out there with this system. So then again, for some areas, even across parts of northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio, southeastern Michigan, down into parts of central Illinois, perhaps into parts of central Missouri, that kind of goes back and down to parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, could see multiple rounds of some moderate, maybe at times heavy snow for a long period of time. That's where we're going to experience some of those higher snowfall totals as well, especially if you live a little bit further down the road as well, where it could last a little bit longer than areas a little bit further to the southwest as well. You know what? The European model does try to take a little bit north, but something I do notice here, whenever I check out the ISO bars, it it tries to develop multiple lows here, and I think that's partially due to that convection there. This is a similar situation to what happened with the nor'easter. I want to try to develop multiple lows, but this is not very realistic. So it had one here, one in central Mississippi, and then one in southern Louisiana. Honestly, in my opinion, it may be a little bit more of a flaw run, but you never know. We'll have to see what happens here with the future runs. It's one run, one solution, right? So it's a little bit similar with the GFS ball, and you do notice here it's got the main surface low further south. So honestly, I think it's got that warm air and stuff a little bit too far north on this run here, especially if how far south it wants to put that surface low. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense on that run, in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about one of the factors that's going to lead to the different track of the low. So the GFS had it further north, but it was a stronger low. This is 500 millibar with vorticity. This is going to be coming on shore on Tuesday. So whenever we get weather balloon data, it'll be moving into California. We should have a better idea on the system here, and also that's when the models get valuable data because that data from the weather balloons goes into the weather models. So the weather models should have a little bit more of an accurate picture with this system here, probably by either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So that's just something to note with this system as well. And you do notice here, there's a lot of energy going on out there. But if we check out the Canadian model, which was a little bit further south, you notice here there's not as much energy to work with. Plus, it's further south. So if you got a weaker low, it's going to go further south because over time, this cold air, this big mass of cold air, is just going to sink further south over time as well. Even if it's going to be slower too, that can also make it a little bit further to the south as well, because that also gives a little bit more time for that cold air to sink further south as well. So that's like 2 or 3 factors already right there that could change the track of this system. Let's check out the European model, which was a little bit further north. It's actually similar to the GFS. It's got a lot of energy built up in the parts of Oklahoma and Texas, so that means a little bit more of a stronger system, and it kind of goes a little bit further north with it as well. So really your main factors here is that if it's going to be a stronger low, it's going to have a little bit more of a northern track. If it's a weaker low, it's going to go a little bit further south. Or if the cold air mass is a little bit weaker, it could also go further north, but if it's a little bit stronger, it can take it a little bit further south. And factor number 3, if the system is a little bit more progressive, it can actually take a little bit more of a northern track. So it kind of beats the cold air a little bit. But if it's weaker, it gives more time for this cold air to sink it further south. So that's 3 different factors right there that could change the track of the system. So in reality, there's still quite a bit of uncertainty with the system here. We still don't have the best agreement, I would say. The GFS ensembles, which if we check that out, this has an awesome agreement with it, and wants to take it a little bit further north as well. And that's a pretty impressive agreement, I have to say. But it has been trending a little bit south over time as well. It's going to mean a 16 inches of snow. That's a very high mean right there. So definitely high confidence forecast that this is going to bring a lot of snow. We still just do not know where that's going to set up. That's the biggest question. This is the Weather Prediction Center. This is their probabilities for at least a quarter of an inch of snow or sleet. And they do got some good probabilities out there. In the light blue shade, that's a 70 to 90% chance. That's from South Central Missouri, through south central Illinois, central and parts of northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio, up into southeastern Michigan. And that darker blue shade, that's a 50 to 70% chance. That goes back as far southwest as around central Oklahoma. Then you got that darker green shade, that's a 30 to 50% chance. That goes back as far southwest as parts of northern Texas. And then you got that lighter green shade, that's a 10 to 30% chance of seeing as well. I would focus areas in the blue colors, 50 to 70 and the 70 90% chance. That's where we have the best chance to see some snow and sleet. Then on day 5, which is the next day, which is Friday, the probabilities do decrease. That's just because there's just a little bit more uncertainty with the forecast. But your higher probabilities, which is a 50 to 70% chance, that goes from northern Ohio to northwestern Pennsylvania, the western half of New York, even going into northern New York, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and northern Maine as well. Lower probabilities as you get further to the further southwest and also south as well. So that's their probability map, and this can change as well. We're still a couple days away from an event. I'm waiting on for the NAM and the highest Canadian range, and we'll have a little bit more model data to use at that point as well. Okay, let's talk about my scenarios here. So this is scenario number 1. Low takes a little bit more of a northern track, and it could always go a little bit northern than this. Keep in mind that too. But this is just kind of a rough draft. So low tracks further north due to it being a stronger low and or cold air mass is slightly weaker. So, and you can see here, areas south of low, it's mostly rain. But if you're closer to like the wintry mix area in the icy zone slash ice storm potential area, you guys will still see some mixed precipitation, but it won't be as bad as areas in the pink colors. Something I want to know in there real quick. Dark blue areas, that's where you could experience multiple rounds of moderate to at times heavy snowfall as well. And then in the light blue shade, that's where we'll just see generally lighter snows. You can still see some accumulations out of it as well. I also forgot to add in here with scenario 1 is how fast the system could be or how much progression it has. This will all be I will add in here faster system as well. That'd be factor number 3. All right, scenario number 2. So the lows track south due to it being a weaker low and or the cold air mass is stronger. So then again, and forgot to put this in here again, if the system is a little bit slower. If that's the case, yes, I could also take it further south. You do notice here, everything on the north side low shifts south. So it does make a difference here with the track of the low as well. And you can see here, I have it kind of going through parts of eastern Texas, southern Arkansas, central Tennessee, southeastern Kentucky, eventually get up into Rhode Island as well. And there's UK Met's a little bit further south than this. Yeah, there's a chance it could go further south than this, but you know what? It's just a general idea of the scenarios you have, which then again it's only 2. Then again, areas in green's mostly rain. Pink, it's icy. That's where you also have that ice storm potential as well. Dark blue, that's where we have the moderate to heavy snow. And then the light blue, that's where you experience lighter snows. And I forgot to say about the last one. In the dark purple shade in the parts of Texas, New Mexico, some wintry mix in there as well. You get a mix of pretty much about everything down there as well. You start as rain, you transition to a little bit sleet, maybe a little bit freezer rain, and eventually you transition over to snow as well. So then again, these are your 2 scenarios. And some of you guys were probably going to ask me what I think is the more likely scenario. Honestly, I don't know at this point. Some of them also been jumping around a little bit. It's hard to tell this far out which one's more likely than the other. So I won't say what's going to be more likely. But all I can say is that these are your 2 scenarios for right now. Now for areas in the mostly rain region, especially if you live closer to the mixed precipitation, there's going to be a lot of rain with this system, especially if you live in the parts of the Lower Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, even down to parts of the deep south. There's going to be a lot of rain with this system. Widespread 2 to 4 inches. So if you don't see much of any mixed precipitation, you're going to get a lot of rain. So if you live in Kentucky, you're definitely going to get something out of this. Even down to Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and that could also lead to flooding problems as well. But we also notice here, back here, it does show 2 to 3 inches rain. Well, in reality, that's going to be snow. But that also tells you how much moisture there's going to be with the system here. I mean, 2 to 3 inches of rain falling, and all that's actually going to be in snow. There's going to be a lot of snow with this system. Plus, some snowfall ratios are likely to be on the higher end side, so there's going to be a lot of snow with this system here as well. Now, someone want to note in there as well. Highest Canadian, which a little bit further south, slightly higher rainfall totals, 4 to 5 inches in some places as well. Otherwise, a little bit similar to the European model. And here's the GFS. It's pretty similar to the other models as well. So even if you don't get any ice, sleet, or snow out of this, you're going to get quite a bit of rain, especially if you live in the parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, even back in the parts of Texas and Louisiana as well. Could see a decent amount of rain out of this as well, and that could lead to a flash flood risk as well. So that's pretty much all for you guys today. Before I end this video, though, I want to say thank you guys so much for making me reach to at least 900 subscribers. The support on the channel over the last couple days have been awesome, and I do appreciate the support on the channel as well. And for a return favor, I'm going to be doing more of these uploads as well over the next couple days and giving you guys more updates on these future systems as well. So I do appreciate the support on the channel as well. But so I got that out of the way. If you guys did like this video, hit that like button. If you do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, put the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys questions. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye and have a good day.